Hi, my name is Joanne Hewins. I am an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up, and the name of my little company is Love to Create. I haven't done a video in a long time. I think I looked and it's been about 9 months, but I'm going to try to start doing those again, and just be patient with me as I try to do this one, first one in a long time. The September-December mini catalog just went live a few days ago. It has some great things in it, and I'll be using some supplies from that catalog. In fact, the card that I'm going to make with you today uses the Peace on Earth bundle, and let me find that quickly for you. It is on page 33. So let me turn to that. Now you might have seen some samples from this for a while now because Stampin' Up! Used this with a workshop that they did with demonstrators a while back called Creativity Now. This one is actually a suite collection, and in it has the stamp set, it has the dies, it has some glimmer paper. We're not using that today. It has an embossing folder. It has some hues of blue flowers, which kind of makes me think of snowflakes. And then it has this beautiful, beautiful paper. So let me show you, first of all, the paper. It's called, let's see, what is that called? Peaceful Garden. And it's just gorgeous. If you're a lover of the blues, you will love this paper. So, of course, it's a 12 by 12, and there are 2 each of 6 different patterns in this. And I don't know how much you can see of all that, but it gives you just a little bit of a taste, I guess, of what there is on that one. And then let me turn it over to the reverse side. Sorry about that. And here are your reverse sides. This one is, I guess, probably would have been considered the reverse side. But the reverse sides are a little bit more plain, but all just wonderful. Sometimes I love the reverse sides better than the others anyway. But let's get started with the card. I saw this card on Pinterest one day, or Facebook, I'm not sure which, and it's a fun fold. I cannot remember the name of the person that showed the fold. I've made up my own with different paper. I hope it's different paper. I don't remember. And this one shows the designer series paper, and I think that's really important. Our papers are so pretty, and you really hate to hide them. And the other good thing about this card is that it is a gift card holder. So you can just slip that in, or if you don't want to give a gift card, just make another tiny card and put it in there, or a tag and put it in, just a little something extra to put in there. So let's talk about how we made this card, and then I have some other samples to show you with this same fold. Got quite a few. I'm excited about that. So the base of the card is going to be Secret C, and I'm just going to cut that into 1/4 of the page. So I'm going to go to 1 1/4, and then just cut that down. And this one will be 5 1/2, and that is the size of a regular card. So this part isn't going to fold. It's the designer paper that's going to fold. So I'll set this over here. We've got that ready. And then my designer paper, I'm going to use the same one that I used before. It's going to be 5 1/2. So let me cut that. And then we will be doing some scoring for this. Now this is the back side, so it's not going to really make any difference. I'm not sure that this has a direction, but there we go. And we are going to score this at 3. And let me pull this out at 3. Then we're also going to do 6.5. Now notice the 6.5 goes past this arm just a little bit. So 6.5. And then at 10.5. So let me see, can you see that? Yeah, you can. 10.5, we'll score that. So I will move that out of the way. I don't think you can see the scores very well, but I can help you with that. So let me get a bone folder. Okay, it's been a long time. I just haven't remembered everything. But a bone folder is just steps away. So I'm going to take this piece. This is the one I scored at 10.5. And then here's the next one. Now I want to try to keep this so that it's squared off. And then this one comes back this way. And so you see a little bit of the edge of the back from the way that it's folded on there. And I really like that. Pretty neat. Okay. So let me, I think I'm going to go ahead and just put that on the background. Okay, and I see that mine isn't going to turn out to be exactly even on there. That often happens. And we'll show you exactly what to do to fix that up. So I've got my glue on there. I like to use the glue because it gives me a little wiggle room, a little bit of time that I can change everything if I need to. So I'm matching that up here at the top, trying to make sure that it's about the same down the sides. Okay, and that actually did turn out pretty good, but it's going to stick out a little bit right in there. So to fix that, I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. I'm going to use this cutter, or actually, if I've got that smaller cutter that they gave away at a join offer at one time, but not right here in easy reach. So we'll just use this old cutter. I wish they'd come out with those again. So here's our card base. Now I am going to make this again into a gift card holder. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some tear and tape on here. Let me find the ends. And I'll just put, now of course you could use glue. Find that fold there, and we will pull that up again. Hold on just a moment. And I'm going to pull those up and just put that down like that. And there is our pocket that we have. Now I see that there's just the tiniest bit of that sticking out there, so I'm going to also do the top, cut that just a tiny bit, to make that even. There we go. So we are ready for the front of our card. So let's talk about that for a moment. I am using branching out, the branching out dies as my die to use for this, and that is also from the brand new catalog. Let me find that. I think I'd written these down somewhere, but that's okay. Page 50. Now I'm going to tell you, I love all of these labels that fit into each other. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. I think that's wonderful. And I just had to have that. As soon as I saw it, I thought, I have to have those dies, but I don't really need this stamp set. But you know what? I was wrong. I did need it, and I have since ordered it. So just get the bundle. Save 10%. Because you're going to want that stamp set. We'll make a card with that one another time. So I used, for the front, I used this third one from the inside for the white. And I used the second one for the one in cloud cover. So that is basic white and cloud cover that I've used for those, and the branching out dies. So I'll fix that later. And then we want to decorate the front of that. I'm going to be using the stamp set that goes with that bundle, and I'm using the one that says Peace on Earth. I want to point out to you, though, that the sayings on here are not just Christmas. Heartfelt prayers with deepest sympathy, perfect for any time of year. Not one of those that we like to have to use, but you know what? We need good ones to have. Big hugs for a good friend, big hugs for a good friend. And then a couple others, peace, love, and joy, love, sending, wishing you, and all the best in your new adventure. So I'm going to be using the Peace on Earth for this card on the cloud cover. And I like to make sure that my pieces are straight on my grid paper. I think that helps me to make things straighter. And I'm using Secret C to make this. So let me ink that up. And I'm going to put that kind of in the middle. Okay. So that turned out pretty well. Yay! Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and glue the two of these together. I think that's so pretty together. Okay. And then this is going to go to the front of the card. So let me go ahead. Now I could have put this on dimensionals. I decided not to, and I'm going to put dimensionals on my birds. I guess those are doves. Okay, I'm trying to center this between this side to side and top and bottom. Sometimes I think my eyesight's a little crooked because I'll get something I think is perfect and I go back and look and it's crooked. But hopefully that will be just fine. And I've already cut the birds out. Now let me show you that these are the Peace on Earth dies. And they do have two labels that we're going to use on another card. And they have the two birds on there as well. So this one doesn't have as many as some of the dies, but perfect for what we need with that. So I suggest the bundle again. Here's the stamp set and the dies for that. Now I'm going to take my bone folder, and hard to pick things up, and just kind of curve my wings just a little bit and back here. Now I know that when I mail this, more than likely it's going to end up flattened out, but maybe not so much because I'm going to have the dimensionals under there. Okay, so I am having to go back to my table and pick up some of my supplies. I thought I had it all, but you know what? That's okay. That's just okay. So I'm going to add dimensionals back here. I think I will cut one of these. to put there. Okay, so we'll take that off. And this bird will go right in here. On there, and we'll work on the other bird. We're also going to trim or curve these wings a little bit, tail feathers, and these a little. And we'll be adding more dimensionals. We'll do one here, and one over here, and then, we'll put one there, and another one here. So let me take the backings off of that. I can use this tool to help me do that. Alrighty, so now we've got this bird, and I'm going to put it about like that. Now, a part of these dies, actually not, let me see, yes, I believe they are a part of this die set, is this piece. Let's see, we have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are these, and I already have some of these cut out, and they're a little bit like snowflakes, a little bit like stars. So there are those. I just did that out of the basic white, and I'm going to add just a tiny bit of of glue, and we'll just add those in different places. I think I'll put that one up there. And then I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and add a dot to my paper. And I can add these others. Oops. Right there. So this is really a pretty simple. And I do have just one of the little branches cut out, and that is this little piece right here. Alright, so I'm going to add just a little bit of glue to that. I think I'm going to put it on a little differently. On that one, I just put a little bit of glue on the stem. You know what? And I think on this one, I'm just going to do it maybe like that. There we go. So there we have the front of the card, and we're going to work on the inside of this. So I have another, just put that like that. I have another set of the panels there, and the stamps that I'm using for this part is from a stamp set called A Child is Born. Now this one is a single stamp set. Let's see what page that's on. It's on page 16. Let me move that. So this is what that stamp set looks like. Okay, some people are alarmed that it's not showing the faces, but I think it's going to be just fine. And we are again going to be using the Secret C. And I'm going to move that so we can see what we have. I'm going to do the stars up here in the corner. Let me move that. Make sure, can you see? Barely. That up in the corner. And then we'll add the saying. Let me move that up just a little. And this says, when they saw the star, they rejoiced. And I didn't think that needed anything else, just that. So let me add that together. There you go. And then we'll just add it to the card inside. And that gives you some room that you can write Merry Christmas, sign your name, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to try to place that between these two folds, which you probably cannot see very well from where you are. Okay. And then this card just has one other thing, and that is the dove that's up there in the corner. So again, I'm going to try to curl that just a little. And then the thing that I need to remember about this is that if I put glue all over that, then my opening won't open all the way. So I'm just going to put the glue right here on the bird, and that will be enough to hold it. I also need to make sure that it doesn't stick out there. So when I have it closed, that is not seen. So there it is. That's the end of this card. And it's just so simple, and I think it's just really, really pretty. It shows this paper beautifully. But I told you that I had some others to show you, and one of them is also showing this paper, and completely different. So this paper has all the flowers and everything on one side, and then on the other side it looks like those stars that we put on the other one. Let me pull one of those in. I've got one laying right here. It looks kind of like that, and will go well with it. We just didn't need it. So for this one, I did use the panels from Peace on Earth. So I had my white and this larger one, and the cloud cover and the smaller on that. So you can see the difference and how those two sizes look on that. And then I used the stamp set You Are Remarkable. That was one of the online exclusives a while back, and I think it's still available for you. So I loved the Friends Are Flowers and the Garden of Life, and I used the Impressions Abloom dies to cut out the flowers for the card. So I did several of this size and one of this size. I didn't use the big. Use the leaves right here. Those leaves are in a soft sea foam color, and that's what I did. The saying is stamped in the Secret Sea. Okay. Now I do want to show you that on these dies, I went ahead and from the back flat side, I taped these together because these are really two dies. One cuts the outside of the flower and one does the inside. And when you do that and you cut them both at the same time, it saves a little bit of time. And I've been able to reuse this many times without redoing my tape. I've done that on this larger one. And I've also done it on the smaller, or the middle-sized one, which is right here. It's also taped from this other side. And I did the same for the centers of the flower. I taped the two together and ran that through. So that's a little tip to help you with cutting some of those a little bit easier. Instead of using two steps, you can use one. Okay, and let's talk about the inside of this one. I added just the larger banner, and I did it in the cloud cover. Now, do you like that, or do you think it would look better to have these two sizes in there? I kind of think it would look better to have the white out there in there too. What do you think? And then I did add another flower out here. I still have this so that you could put a gift card or a little note in there to your recipient. So just flowers, leaves, and the paper does all the rest. It's really pretty. So here are these two together. I love those two cards, and I really do recommend that you get the Peaceful Garden is the name of all the papers, and then Peace on Earth is the name of the bundle that you can get with that. But I have a couple more cards that I wanted to share with you that I made with this very same fold. And with those, I have used another set of papers and more different bundles. So for this one, I used for the sayings the right words. This is in the online exclusives, and if you haven't noticed this one, I would suggest you look it up because it has some really, really different sayings. I like to someone we're celebrating every single day. I love this one. I know a good thing when I see it, and I see lots of good things in you. So some really perfect things. So I've used some of those on this. So thinking of you is from this on this card. Now the papers that I used for this one are from another set of papers. These you can find in the online store. Let me see if I can pull these out. They're called Floral Charm. And I've got some of those. I've been using this, so I don't have some of those pieces on that. But see how beautiful these pieces are? And there's another piece that I just have a little bit of, that orangey one. So that's one. And then when you look at the backs of these, they are a solid color, but it's floral for the most part, and just really, really pretty. Let me turn the rest of these over so you can see that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love those. Okay, so let's show you these. This one, I used the Charming Day. Let's see if I can find that. Well, I, for some reason, did not bring that over here, and it's an online exclusive, so I can't really show you. I do have the dies on here, so let me pull those where you can see them. That's some extras that I've had at some time. So I don't have the stamp set to show you right now, but these 2, 3 cut out images from the die set, and then these others are different. And this piece of white right here, I used this to cut that out. Now I used, again, the branching out for this panel here. I used that larger one, the third one out for that. And then for these, I used basic white. Now, one of the things I wanted to tell you that the background for this one could be considered to be the basic beige, and I used white instead. I don't know, what do you think would have been better? But I have another suggestion, and that is this. I think this is, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but this is not quite as bright as the one that you have there. I think it looks really nice with what's back there. And what I used to cut that out is our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. So that might have been a better choice to use for this, and one that you might not think about. Okay, and so whites for that. I put one of these in white, just kind of sticking because I wanted it to show a little bit. And then this is the die that I used for over here. Again, we've got our little pocket. And then on the inside, this happy birthday is from the Right Words. And then a leaf in the peacock. So that's that one. Now I also used as a embellishment on this one. Let's see if I wrote down what that is. Well, I did not. It is a hexagon, greens, shades of greens, hexagon embellishments. And right now, I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of that, but I thought that just really matched it beautifully and looked nice. And then this paper has the berry burst on the opposite side, and I used the banners from the Peace on Earth for both of those. This was from the Right Words. I stamped this stamp for, I was going to color that for you, but I didn't remember to bring the stamps. But I will show you what I used to color these two. Now, the leaves on here are a brownish color. I guess it's more of a crumb cake color. And I didn't want my leaves crumb cake, so I went ahead and used the old olive blends, the light and the dark, to color those. And then for the flowers, I started out with the light fresh freesia, and then I added in a darker fresh freesia. That's the darker. So I started with the light fresh freesia, added in a little bit of the darker, and then I added in some of the light berry burst, a little bit of dark berry burst, and I finished up with doing the light and dark blackberry bliss, a little bit around the edges, or the center, I guess, the edges of the center, and in the center with those. So that is what I used to color those flowers. And then for over here, I stamped this stamp, and then I just cut around just the flower and put that over there with some of the leaves. Okay, then this is Blackberry Bliss cardstock and the basic beige cardstock on that. Now I could have used again the watercolor paper for that. All right, let me pull all that away. I've got one more card to show you from that fold, another idea for you, and that one is a Christmas or a winter card, I guess I should say. This is some of the new paper that I think is in the it's in the catalog. Hold on just a moment. Let me look at paper. Peaceful Days. I don't think that it is. This might be part of the online exclusives. Okay, so for that one, let's see, did I bring that paper over? I did. Let me show you that paper. It is actually called Elegant Pine Snowflakes. And here are the different pieces of that. So some pieces are pretty dark. That one looks a lot alike, but there's some differences in here. The snowflakes are made from pine boughs, which is kind of a different idea. But you can see those. And then let me flip that over for you. That's what the other side looks like. Again, just super pretty. I'm a green lover, so I love those little bit of green in that one, even though it doesn't make you think of snow in green, but that's okay. That's okay. So when I made this card, I used the banners from the Peace on Earth. And to decorate those, I used a shaded spruce. To decorate those, I cut out some of the shapes from the designer paper. So let me show you where I got those. So I just cut them out of there and glued them on. And the stamp set that I used is Snowflake Kisses. Now, I didn't bring that one over as well. Snowflake Kisses, and also the Let It Snow came from there. And a little bit of a snowflake over here. Still have the pocket there. So that one, you can see, was also pretty easy to do, especially if you don't mind fussy cutting. So let me bring in all 5 of these cards. We started off with the, what was the name of that? Peaceful Garden paper. And then we went to the Charming Day or Floral Charm paper. And then we finished up with this pine, let me see, Elegant Pine Snowflakes. So there's all 5 of the cards. What do you think? Isn't that a beautiful fold? Now let me give you the measurements because I don't think I ever mentioned much of that. So you're going to be using a 12 by 12 paper, and I cut it 5 1/2 by 12. Now when you score it, you want to have the side that you want prominent up when you score. And you're going to score that at 3. And then you're going to score at 6 1/2. And then at 10 1/2. Okay? So, let me also show you one little thing that I did differently on this card. I decided that I wanted to have a frame all the way around. So on that one, instead of cutting it 5 1/2 by 12, I cut it 5 1/4 by 12. And that will give you a frame all around. And then for the base of your card, this will be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I think that would give you pretty much what you would need to make the cards. And I'm going to also link these sizes and information in the post when I post this video. So thank you again for being patient with me. It's been a long time. I think maybe I did okay. I may try to do some more. And I appreciate your patience, your staying with me and looking at the cards. I really think they are beautiful. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.